look at what we're discussing today, you're more than welcome to do that. So with that being said, I'll turn it over. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. So we'll start out with a little bit of ladder license and leave training here. So from the home page, we've got the ladder license and leave button. It's starting to fill up with some good stuff. So we started out with leave and have recently been adding more stuff to the license and training portion. So for this, I want to show you guys how to connect your herbicide license. For those of you that's went and taken your herbicide test, we're going to try to link those together. So on this license and training, when it loads by default, it's got your driver's license. So I'm impersonating Mr. Cook here at West Plains. The portion that we're going to be looking at this morning is the professional licenses. So when most of you log in, you're not going to have anything. This is where any professional license would be. So for PE for engineers, we're going to add herbicide license, maybe some welding certifications, that kind of stuff are going to be stored right here. So for the herbicide license, when you go to the Department of Ag, you take your test, you pass all that stuff, they issue your license. All they really know about us is our name. So they don't have access to our employee ID and that kind of stuff. So when they send that over, we have to link those two. This should only have to be done one time. So once you link it, your license number is the same. So every time that you renew it, you should be good to go. So up here in the top right corner is this herbicide license. So if you click on that button, it recognizes once again who you are, because the system knows who you are. And this is where you need to enter your license number. So Mr. Cook's number is P7145. And you need to enter the expiration date. So I've only done this a few times, but to me, the easiest method is to click on the date here at the top, and that takes you to the years, and then you can scroll forward a year at a time. So 26, and his expire March the 31st. So once you make sure that this is your name, put in your license number and the expiration date, we're going to hit the search button, and that's going to search all of the information that comes over from Department of Ag. So notice that this pulled up the categories that he has passed, and the dates all look the same. So once you confirm that this is your name, your license number, what you feel like you passed, you certify that that's correct, and then save it. And now this herbicide license is in your list of professional licenses. Once again, you should only have to do that once. Once it's linked, then we keep that link that's there. So now what's that do for you? So let's go into assigning work. And this is going to link back to a herbicide licensee role. So let's see. Oh, I'm not logged in as him anymore. I'm going to get logged back in as Mr. Cook here. Right. Okay. So assigning work, and it will work for no matter what the activity is. We're going to add one, and we'll just add one for weed control, but you can add that herbicide licensee for any activity. And we'll do it for today. Next. And so if I choose, let's choose Craig up here, and we'll assign him the role of herbicide licensee. And notice it's given us this warning here. That's because Craig's herbicide license hasn't been linked back to him, if he has it. But if we look at Mr. Cook and we assign the role herbicide licensee, now he doesn't get the warning. So whoever's on your spraying crew that's in charge of the herbicide and you're using their herbicide license, need to make sure that their license is connected to that individual. Any questions on herbicide license? All right. That's all I had. Pass it back over to you, Michael, for budget updates.
All right, appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with everybody. Um, so we've been working on the budget module. We've had the budget module out here now for several years, but there were some changes this fiscal year with some of our org structure, particularly kind of lining up some items with traffic and maintenance divisions. And so the concept of division was really not in our budget module before. We just kind of lumped it all there together. So you'll notice I'm coming in here, and it might be hard to see here. I'm in production. Just kind of step back to show you where I went to. Went into budget. Now budget has security level settings in it. It's going to read who are you. So if you're a maintenance supervisor, it's going to load to your building. You can go look at anything in the state. Superintendent, you get the buildings that are assigned to you in MMS, the ones that are underneath you there. When it comes to the district level, that's where it kind of gets a little interesting to make sure that we're getting the right groups there. So I'm going to show you a Northeast here. So Jennifer Henson is a traffic and maintenance engineer. That's the way it is for both the Northwest and the Northeast districts. And you'll notice that the way we built it is that Jennifer can actually see both divisions here. She can see the maintenance and she can see traffic division. Now what this is how much money do we have? And we turned this on last Monday. So realistically, there hasn't been a whole lot yet done in here. The districts are just kind of getting the process going. What happens is the brass. So when you work with, if you get like a monthly report from your support service managers that talk about budget to actual, those kind of reports, we're getting all the same information from there. And so this brass is our statewide accounting system. The support service managers worked along with our maintenance engineers, traffic engineers. This is the first year to come up with a zero-based budget, build everything based upon what are we really going to do, what's the work that's going to be accomplished. And so you'll notice in the Northeast District that brass budget started at almost 23.5 million is what that number is. And so these numbers are all set in here working along with district personnel. If you'll notice just the maintenance side, what Jennifer has is 23.3 million. So that's the money that they have to spend internally to buy anything, you know. So you'll notice that that could consist of non-fleet items. They've budgeted 2.1 million for that. Very similar to any other district. They got pipe in here at $1 million. So I'll use this as an example. All these things tie into work plans. Many of you are heavily involved in that process. We'll be starting it up here in probably another month or two, working on our work plans for this next year. And that comes into this column right here, estimated material for cost for a work plan. So we're taking those work plans we built, we put date ranges in those, and we look and we say, okay, tell me all the work that's going to happen in fiscal year 25, which is July 1st of 2024 through June 30th of July 25. And that's what fills in this column here. And now this goes a long ways in helping us figure out how do we build this overall brass budget. So there's a material expense in the Northeast of almost 688,000 coming from those work plans. They budgeted to spend $1 million in material expenses. That's probably pretty realistic when you think about it, right? Because maybe we have pipe that we replace we don't always anticipate. You know, another big one is asphalt pavement repair. Here's 5.6 million as their work plan. They've budgeted 7.3. So those are the things that we're trying to figure out. How do we mesh these items together? How do we get closer? How do we get better, both on the planning side and the budgeting side, being aware, you know, things happen. Because we're trying to be forward looking with budget, right? Not so much what have we historically done. I don't know how many times you guys, but I've been asked many times in my career, well, how much do you think you're going to spend? This is what you spent the last 3 or 4 years. Will it be the same? Right? But what am I going to do? That could be completely different than what I've been doing. So the districts have the ability to separate money. So for instance, like in striping, 2.7 million is how much is budgeted for buying the materials and paint for the Northeast District. At the district level, it shows every single superintendent, and you'll notice right there that they have already got that money distributed. Every bit of that's going to go to the Northeast District wide. That's the superintendent area that has striping underneath it. So that's where all that money is going to go. They can do that same thing for every one of these activities, and that's what we encourage that district maintenance personnel to be doing. And you'll notice that they've come in here. So Jennifer or Heath have all been already working on this, doing a great job. And you see how they took their 7.3 million basically of material money for asphalt pavement repair for this coming fiscal year, and they start breaking that down. How much money are they going to have and keep in each one of these? And so here's the superintendent in the central area, 1.2 million, 1.1 million. You know, they got their work plans that they can look at over here. Where are those sitting at? And so they start allocating that money. Now, the benefit in doing that is that once they allocate that money, then you can come in um, at a building and superintendent level, and you can kind of see what that next step is. Now, I'm just going to jump over here real fast. I don't know that the superintendents in the Northeast have done this yet, but we'll just take a look real fast and see if what that is, because this is all about kind of rolling up that money so that you have this ability. Here is money now. I've opened up a superintendent area. I think I did the central there, Northeast. This money's been distributed to the superintendent. That's what that DME piece is there. And then they could come in here and they could say, okay, now I'm going to take the 200,000 for pipe. And sure enough, fantastic. Great job, superintendent. Um, well, this is the work plan. I'm sorry. They're going to take that money for the pipe there, that 203,000, and they're going to distribute that across these buildings right here. All right. And they got the work plans. It already looks like they're going to do $147,000 worth and be able to do that. Now I could come in at the building level. So let's come in at building 7B08. And this is the whole intention, again, of trying to do this because there is no, um, formal budgeting to the building level, short of, kind of doing spreadsheets and except for what we have got, what we built in here. So I can come in here if I was a supervisor, 7B08 at Shelbina. And what this is going to do, had the superintendent worked all the way through the distributing part, I could have an amount right here. How much do I have allotted for myself this year for asphalt, pipe, chip seal, concrete, edge rut, and so on? What did my work plan at my building level do? And then how much have I spent? And this is real time. When I say real time, we update these expenditures every night. So as of last night at midnight, Shelbina has already spent for consumable inventory almost $4,000. They've almost got 47,000 encumbered. So you don't have to wait on that report. That's probably the main thing. You don't have to wait on that report from financial services. You can come in here and you can see exactly where you're at. Now, sometimes, again, you might have more questions. Obviously, call the support service manager. Wait a second. I don't know that we've spent $1,000 on pipe or we've ordered any pipe. Why would this be here? Those are great questions to ask, and they can help kind of lean you towards those directions. But it's there for everyone to use. We really want to be able to tie this into how we do our work. What does that look like? What is that information? One of the newest features that we have is future work plan estimates. And so we're doing that so that at any point we can you can look at your current year, you can look historical in budget, but now we can look out in advance and say, okay, but I want to see what have we already planned in Shelbina for the fiscal year 26 based upon what was put in work plans, what kind of money's out here. This is going to be that step we start moving forward with in understanding zero-based budgets when we say, well, how much for the next year? How much for the next year? So all of it ties together. Appreciate you guys and what you're doing there. If anything we can do, we are coming around to the districts. We've offered the districts to come spend time with their superintendents and management there to get these things started out right. So again, we hopefully will be in your area here within the next couple of weeks having those kind of discussions with them. All right. That being said, I'm going to turn it over to Sheree. Thank you.
Michael, I don't think Sheree's made it on quite yet. So I'll show my screen real quickly here and talk about this chip sealing. So basically, this is just kind of a heads up that the name chip sealing is changing. The description, everything's still the same. So we're in assigning work here and chip sealing. And if you click on the little I button, it pops up the definition description. That's pretty well staying the same, but chip sealing is no longer going to be the name of it. It's going to change. It's still staying R31C, but it's going to be seal coating, and it's staying lane mile. I don't know if you want to give much more of a background, Michael. I think it's just to stay accurate on what work's being performed under that name and that code. But we just want to give you guys a heads up that name's going to be changing. So if you go into assigning work and you're looking for chip seals, seal coating is what you're going to be looking for there.
Yeah, so that's seal coating the piece there. Again, it came from a communications. MoDOT as a whole, I'd say probably we're in probably our third year now. Our communications that come out and talk about what are we going to be doing is referring to a seal coating. They dropped the word of referring to it as chip sealing. I know historically, and I think internally, we're probably still going to use those kind of words, but to line it up with what we're communicating to public and talking about, and those particular pieces, that wording will be changed there. And so same activity, you're just going to say it's still coding there. All right, I think Tommy, you're next.
Right, thank you. I'm going to share here real quick. So back to our ladder license and leave module. I have a couple leave topics that I do want to cover. One of them being leave balances. We will be opening that up to all EID supervisors in the org. Will be able to see leave balances for everyone in their org. Currently, only the supervisor can see those leave balances. So got a lot of feedback about that. It'd be really helpful if all the supervisors in the building could see everyone, not just their direct reports. So we've made that change, and on August 9th, we'll be deploying that to production. And so I think the number of requests that we've had for that's going to be a well-received enhancement to leave balances. So again, leave balances will be open to all EID supervisors in the building so that they can see everyone in the building's leave balances. Because I know we know they share responsibilities throughout. The other thing with leave balances, I'll just show mine here real quick, is on August 1st, we'll be turning on the Overmax on October 31st projection emails. So if you guys remember, once we get into August 1 through October 31st, supervisors, you will start receiving the email saying so-and-so is projected to be Overmax on October 31st. And we just do that for that last couple months, kind of really help you all manage and help your folks manage their time so that you're not left trying to crunch out some vacation at the end. And we don't do it year round simply because a lot of us are overmax all year round. So we kick that on. So on August 1st, I think Thursday, you'll start receiving those emails again when you have staff that are over the 80-hour mark, projected overmax on October 31st. Any questions about that? Okay. Michael, you're going to talk about the new show all button coming up.
Yeah.
For call reports,
Okay.
opening up call reports.
Yeah, I was just wondering, maybe I'll circle back around. I was going to go through and do a little bit on career ladder, so I'll just
Sure.
wait and do that. I'll do that after Randall, because Randall's going to touch base on some license and training. So yeah, I'll just pick that up if there's some things there on that part. All right, so wanted to highlight a particular effort we've been working with St. Louis now for, I'm going to say probably about a month and a half. And it was trying to connect call reports to how much time we spend doing those. So this has kind of been an effort that's been going on for a while, and particularly those orgs. Some of you you know quite well. I mean, we've all got call reports, but there's some buildings that, I mean, really it just seems like that's about all that you get to do, particularly if you're an urban building. Some of those are maybe more a little seasonal than others from that standpoint. And so the St. Louis district had been asking multiple times over the last several years, even when we first started with MMS, well, how can we be able to track how much time we spend just in response to call report? And when you think about call reports, I could be called out. Now I've got a dead animal on the road. I've got a couch in the road. I've got a drainage issue. I've got a stop sign. I've got, a large litany of items when it comes to call reports. And so we started first with, in my area, right? Well, that was back when we had my area, and we still have it there. You can go in and you can turn on call reports, and you can see things about call reports. You can see new ones, pending. You can see information there, right? We did that first. We actually had that for a couple of years. Then the question came up, said, well, can we move call reports into documenting work? So we did that, and we did that probably about, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, maybe a year. We brought call reports into when you document. Well, we did that for a while, and then the question came up about can we tie them better to a actual activity? So I'm going to come in and show you kind of one of the buildings that's been helping us with this effort. I forgot what Wentzville's org number is. So let me look it up here. All right, they're 7F54. 7F54. Right, there's Mr. Norman. All right. So Wentzville and I think Normandy, question me if I'm saying that right. They have been intentionally trying to be, when they do a call report, to close it in MMS as they do the work. Okay, and I think probably several of you have done that. We've had this feature again, I think, for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or so, that when you're in here and you're performing work and you come in to take care of a, oh, let me get Mr. Clark again here. The call reports show up actually on your documenting work page. And what it is we made it so that they would show up if for the activity assigned. So what they've been doing is they've been real intentional of, okay, I got this call report that had to do with the pothole patching or a dead animal, and then they go perform the work. They got the emails about the call report. They go perform the work, and now they come back and they say, okay, what's the issue here, right? What am I having to do? What am I having to respond to in that exact situation there? And so each call report is connected to an activity. So I'm going to go into signing here for their building. This Mr. Paul Henke. This would have been here this last week. Okay. So again, this person did a bunch of signs there. They're very busy out doing signs. But I want to go to the location page for a second. Each call report we have taken and we've attached it in the background to a type of activity. And so you'll see these call reports. We particularly looked at like anything that we thought would be response to. So we've got them for pothole patching, we've got them for signing, we've got them for multiple different activities. But what they're finding in St. Louis, they get a call report. Let's say it was for a stop sign down. Maybe that's what it is, right? But when they come in to actually document that they took care of this stop sign, it wasn't showing up there. And so what was happening is that the call taker, who, in the TMC or wherever they are, whoever's taking call reports, when they filled in this call report, they said it was a sign work, but when they go out there to do it, maybe they didn't locate it right. Right? The red dot wasn't here; it was somewhere else, wrong county. They've been trying to work on getting that fixed. The call report person attached it to the wrong description. So instead of tying it to signing a signed problem in their process of doing the call report, for some reason they picked obstruction in roadway. We'll start throwing it to other activities. Right? Obstruction in roadway could be under pothole pat. It's something else, right? It's not signing. I knew we would have some of these, right? Because a person answering a phone from the public cannot be 100% accurate to what someone is saying. It's impossible, right? For that to actually be the case. So what we decided we would do is that, and here's some right here. That's exactly what they'll show up as. Those red squares, right, dots there. So these are active open call reports for Wentzville, right? But when they go and do this work, again, if it's not the right location, they've got to get a hold of the TMC, and that's something that's going to have to continue to work that way. If your call report is in the wrong area, now if it's off a little bit, probably doesn't make it that much difference, but completely wrong road, completely wrong county, you're going to have to call your customer service and say, this has got to be relocated. I need it where I did my work. Okay. Now, when you click on this, make sure I don't mess up their stuff here. When I click on this, what it's trying to do, of course, I'm connecting to a location here, but it's also going to try to connect to this call report right there, real time. See? And I can take care of all of this at one time. Your lead person, all right? So instead of managing it maybe through an email or something, how other way you're doing it, all of your lead people can at the end of the day do that. And what happens, it will open it up and they can then enter information into that call report. So I could hit select. You notice it opens a new document right here. This was a call report from the 3rd. It talks about what it is. Just like all call reports, you can come down here and you can take care of that information there. So that's what's kind of going on here, right? Paul's even done that at some point here, it looks like. That's what the access is. So we've had this ability to do just like this for the last 4 or 5 months. But what we found is, particularly in Wentzville and Normandy, they're having to edit, they're telling me about 50, 60% of these call reports. And I don't think there's anything I can do that's going to make it so that the call reports 100% of the time are on the correct activity. So we're working on an enhancement. I didn't feel comfortable in just turning all of them on again. That's kind of where we were about a year ago, and we could quit doing that. So what we're going to do is that if there was a call report for signing, but for some reason, say that it's supposed to be up here on this route. That's what it was supposed to be on Route P. That's where the problem is. But it does not display here. Again, and it's not displaying because they didn't locate it right. They put it to the wrong activity, And what I'm seeing, if I go back and open one of these, Norm was telling me he has access, and it sounds like whenever, as a supervisor, you have access. I assume his is no different than anyone else, that you can make some edits on the call report itself. So this is the deal right there. It's that subcategory right there, right? If that is the wrong subcategory, Norm's in here updating that. He was changing it. Maybe it had been put to litter pickup and it's supposed to be signs. He was going in there changing that, and then he would go back to MMS and now it would show up. So instead of him having to come in here and do this, what we are going to try and do is we're going to put a button over here, probably right below show last days or search, and it's going to say show all call reports for your org. So we'll start again, load the page with call reports to the activity that you are documenting. If they do not load because, again, they've been put to the wrong subcategory, that's really what the issue is right here. then you can click as the lead person, show me all call reports from my activity, and then they'll populate on there. So part of the deal back was, why are we doing this, right? So again, the district has been very driven to want to know how much time are they spend responding to call reports. If you will select your call report, just like I did there, the lead person selects it. What's going to happen over in results, we're going to start dividing time up to when you selected a call report. So you saw he put a bunch of signs in, right? A bunch of them. Well, if one of those had been a call report, we will divide some of his time into that particular signing. So in that activity, I could come into signing here for Wentzville since the first of the year. They have not been doing it that long, maybe the last couple months, they've been kind of doing this. And if I go down and I export this report, I can come in here and we've started quantifying. It's not exact perfect, but we're coming in and we're getting an amount of hours to time we're spending in response to a call report. And so they open this up after it's been submitted, and they can come in here and they can turn on, and we'll hide some of these columns here. You can do all kinds of stuff, where you add comments and things now that we've got on documenting. But you'll notice there's that call report right there. Okay, and these are labor hours. So I could come in here and I could filter and just get the ones that have call reports. This is every time they've come in here and they've clicked on one of those call reports as they did the work. So you'll notice that when we loaded this, it went back and kind of picked up everything we've been doing. So now I can say, all right, what's the amount of time that we've spent doing this, and I can get a number pretty easy of what that is, of how much effort has been placed, labor hours, in response to call reports. And they've done 2,300 hours since the first year just for signs. So it's pretty substantial, right? Again, you could find examples where it might not be exactly perfect how we're distributing hours, but we're giving some way without creating a whole bunch of other steps. We didn't want to go down a activity route, right? Because you need the activity to be what you did. We cut brush, we put a sign in, we filled a pothole, right? You needed it to just grab it because it's part of what you're documenting. So we'd encourage you all, I think we've talked about it before, please look at doing that call report, accessing that. When you click on that call report, it says it puts it in here. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean that you've closed it. So you guys need to talk in your building, right? Who's responsible for closing them? The information. We are not watering down the call report process at all. That's extremely important that we call people, we talk to them, we're on top of it, just like you guys know you're supposed to. So again, stay on top of that. This isn't Wild Wild West. But it is there for, we did the work, I've clicked it, I've put my comments in, I've said what I did, I closed it, I've talked to the people, it's all done properly. Now on the backside, we can come in and give you a quantity of how much time and labor you spent addressing some of our call reports. So to help with this, again, we're going to circle back around probably here within the next month, and we're going to add in that ability that on the documenting, if for some reason it's not the right activity, you can hit show all and you would see all of the call reports for your org. You don't see call reports for other orgs. It's, again, we just give you what customer service says, but just in those cases where they're not, what the public's telling us really isn't what the fix needs to be, we can do a show all and show everything there. So, okay. Any questions about call reports? You guys got a question, put it over in the chat. Well, I think we'll have a little bit of time here at the end also. We can circle back around. All right. Randall, I think I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right, so we'll stay in the ladder license and leave button there. This will do a quick reminder about your training. So as we transition to movers slowly but surely, the first thing that went was our Mo.U. If you remember, we no longer use Mo.U. So now we're into, I think it's called Mo Learn. And everything's going to be entered and maintained over there. So we told you guys that not to panic. All of your stuff is going to still be in MMS. You can access it all through there. Just want to show you how you get there. So the ladder license and leave button, if you go to license and training again, I'm still in as Mr. Cook. And up here at the training courses is where we're going to want to go. So if you click training courses, that brings in every bit of your training that was in Mo.U. So that LearnSoft data did not go away. We captured all of that. It's still here in MMS. So you can, there's all kinds of manipulating you can do with this screen here, this grid. So we'll just look at all 100. And then if you click the completion date, it will sort those from oldest to newest, or you can switch it around the other way by clicking it again. So that's the most recent one that he's done. You can do some customized column stuff if you want to look and see how many training hours you had, say in fiscal 24. You can just drag that up here. And Kenneth had 60 hours of training. To get rid of that, you can just drag it back out. Same thing with all of these columns. This expiration date column here, this is something I think is going to be handy moving forward. So it's my understanding that basically all training that's done in the new Mo Learns is pretty well going to have an expiration date on it. At least all of those that, you know, the flagger training, the work zone training that need to be refreshed, they're going to have an expiration date on it. So as they start loading stuff into that system and it starts appearing here, you'll notice there's going to be some expiration dates on there. So that'll kind of help you keep track of when you need to have that refresher training. And then you'll be able to click this expires button here within 60 days. It'll just display those that are getting ready to expire. And the expired button brings up everything that's already expired. The export button if you want to send it to a PDF or Excel document. So just to show you your information that was in Mo.U. I know there was a lot of printing take place because we didn't want to lose that data. And I've been there with you, but it is all still there and displayed in MMS. And those new Mo Learn courses will add right to this grid, and it hopefully will be seamless for you. So any questions on your training and how to get to it? All right. So Michael, I'm going to turn the quiet bunch back over to you.
All right. I guess, you know, we just started out with a bang there. So one of the items, kind of finishing up here, talk a little bit about training module before we go into what we're working on this year. Everything was put on hold, as Randall was saying, as of May 31st. All of you guys kept training, you kept doing stuff, right? That data now, our central office personnel with the safety management group, training group, they'll start working on putting those in very easily. Some of that's already started being put in with the new Movers Learn system being uploaded and available as of last week. Again, encourage you that Movers Learn. It's been videos. There's training courses out there. Please use that. That is the system of record. They are all things as far as training. We will get, as Randall says, we're going to get a file from them every night because that's part of, we tie everything together, right? We're looking at career ladders. We're looking at assigning work alerts, training alerts, all of those particular pieces, your safety scores, all of those pieces tie into that individuals trained or not and what they have taken. So this gap from May 31st through again today, those will be, if they weren't put in last week, they're working on those to get all of that in. So I bring all that up because we have a couple of things that's kind of going on, and I want to share my screen with you. I want to talk a little bit about kind of this career ladder license, and a little bit more in depth what Randall was showing here. and that is you've got to have training courses for that career ladder. And we started with this back in, what did we start in May when we turned on career ladders? April. Again, encourage you all. We got videos out there. Again, a reminder to ever get to the videos, top right, you hit that help button up there at the very top right. That will load our SharePoint page for MMS. And then you got videos kind of right here in the center. You click on the videos, and basically we kind of have a library. All of these would be underneath career ladder. So if you want to, again, see those are those same kind of videos we would have sent out. But hey, life gets busy, you know. Often I don't remember something until I have to. So if you're an employee, career ladder for an employee, and you need to go in there and remind yourself, what do I need to do? Or you're a level 1 supervisor, what do I need to do? Or so on. I mean, look at those videos, or call us. We don't mind one bit looking at that. But these things they all tie together really fast. But the employee is now ready for a career ladder. I've come in here. This is a particular employee up in our Kansas City district. Just again, show you kind of how this works. He's got the career ladder alert there going on. Of course, that could tell you something about leave. It could tell you something about a career ladder, a license. Those particular things there. Now, once you click on this, he's actually within the period of time of going in and looking at his career ladder. And then once you do that, it takes that alert off. The career ladder piece, but this is for one of our employees. Now, what we did on the employee piece is, again, we're looking at everything about that employee, how long they've been here. This is the perfect example. They're within just a month or so of potential promotion date. Everything has been checked. There's no problems. CDL's good. There's no discipline. All of those records, right? This is everything required for the intermediate position. Everything's checked off. It's just fantastic. This is a great example of everything being trained. No problems with any kind of organizational. He has accomplished at least 6 of these others. So these are, just spot on exactly what we want to see. I know particularly in Kansas City, Tanya, the management there team has said, hey, we want employees involved in this. And that was our intention all along, to have employees. So it's kind of tough. I thought we were going to make it obvious, but maybe it's not. You kind of get to the end to see this line here. That's the end of all the requirement stuff. And then you start moving into this bottom section. And here's the employee. So the employee has the ability. Again, I'm in production, so I'm not going to say any of this, but they could come in here and say that I have completed all my required training in addition to frequently taking lead roles, whatever you want to put in here, right? This is the employees. They can put things in here. They can be doing it throughout that 2 years up to that promotion. Maybe they got a chance to serve on a statewide team for something. Maybe they got to be a lead for a particular superintendent area effort. Maybe there was a push for traffic, for trash pickup or a chip seal work effort, or maybe they got involved in taking the kids to work day, something they did, right? Maybe they want to show recognition here. You can add the documents to that, and then basically all they're going to do is they're going to hit certify. Okay, now again, I'm not going to do that, but they can do that. They can hit certify. As soon as they hit certify, notice how that submit button turns blue. So that's all they really have to do. And that's the employee part. And again, but they could see it at any point, what is going on? Where are they? What's been accomplished? There isn't this wait and find out later, right? Now, what if this gentleman had taken something in the last couple of weeks? And again, we don't have that data, right? There is a way to take care of that. You reach out to your local HR department. They work with central office HR. But those are those exceptions. I can tell you, unfortunately, I've already had some conversations. Again, I'm just kind of on the outside of this deal of an employee who is within a couple weeks of their eligible date, and now they look in here and they got multiple courses they don't have done. No, these courses are not all just go online. The vast majority of these courses are training courses, classroom courses, right? So please, I just encourage everyone. It's very easy. Go take a look at your career ladder. Have it a part of your normal process. Where am I? What have I accomplished? What have I taken care of? Where am I in that? So, um, supervisors, you start rolling through your part there. The level one that goes to superintendent, then goes to district management. It just keeps progressing throughout the whole entire process. Very much like the whole incident side. So, encourage y'all take a look at that. Make sure that you're on top of that. Um, we want to just make sure we're tying all that together. But I have not been told when all of those courses since May 31st will be in the system. I've just been told that's kind of their priority thing that they're doing now is getting all that uploaded to them. A lot of data there, a lot of information. Again, supervisors, as you're aware, you can come in, as Randall was saying, you can use that ladder license sleeve to see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things under that license and training as he went through there. Just encourage you again, if you ever see something that doesn't make sense, please give us a call, shoot us a note. I would always rather you question it. When we first went live with this, we immediately had some alerts that were showing up for some buildings. Hey, someone didn't have a CDL or didn't have this or that. Sure enough, it was true. One of the individuals they had not taken their physical was out of date, right? Another one was a out-of-state employee, and so there's ways to capture that now. HR can come here and take care of these outer states. So we're trying to tie a lot of these things together. I believe many times it can become a little overwhelming, right? So what I feel like happens often is that we made effort first couple years. It was pretty much just all maintenance, right? Maintenance supervisors we're talking to, superintendents, maintenance engineers we're talking to. It's just kind of that world, right? We were all kind of in our own little silo, working through that. And then we come along with safety, right? And all of a sudden we spend a year and a half with all of our safety personnel. Chris Engelbreit, every one of the district safety health managers. We frequently talk with all of our district safety staff, incident reporting and now safety scores and dashboards. And it's like, okay, how does that all fit in there? Next thing you know, now we're jumping over to HR, right? And we're talking from Ashley Buchner or Ashley Halford all the way through each one of the district HR managers. How do you manage this and what does this fit and how's all that? At the end of the day, you guys are there every day, right? You're every day managing, working through it with your own employees. So one of the things that Randall, Tommy, Cherie, Don, this is something that they've been talking about for a long time, and we're trying to take some actions on, is that should MMS be a part of even like Gear Up, the first week of employees? So, or what does it look like, right? Should be part of that checklist system. Should a maintenance employee who comes to your building brand new, should they maybe have certain videos they watch in the first few months? We're trying to propose something that's in the works to try and see what we could to offer there, right? What would make sense? You guys probably have mixed emotions on that, right? You got a brand new employee, you need to start them allocating it, kind of getting them into their normal work there in the building and the things that they're doing and who they work with and all those dynamics. Where does this kind of fit in here? We want to be realistic. They don't need to know everything about MMS in the first 6 months, right? How do you document work? How do you find out some stuff about yourself? What's that look like? So we're trying to find a place. What's the right piece to fit into that? And that'd be kind of like an OJTs, right? These on the job. Here's some videos. Watch those. Understand those, because you guys are pretty much taking all that on yourself. You're kind of doing in the building on the job training. Anyways. Then we've talked about a bigger influence in the Maintenance Leadership Academy. I believe that some of the districts had really plugged in MMS for years into that MLA. Others maybe not as much. But if you think about it, right? If you're a crew leader today, you've moved in that senior to a crew leader, your world, a lot of ways, maybe an MMS is completely different. You never scheduled work before. You never even paid attention to what a work plan was. You maybe never even went and looked at people's training records. I mean, just a whole new world, right? You're not a supervisor, but you have got so much more that you're seeing a part of. What does that look like? What do they need to see much more aware of? What do we have, supervised assistants in their own situations? I think there's a lot out there. And so, anyway, we want to find a more concerted effort into that group to help make sure that we're kind of tying in those pieces and understanding where that right platform is to be. So, with that being said, what are we doing here in the next this year, this fiscal year? We are doing a rewrite of MMS. We're going to be looking at some of our modules, particularly maybe consumable inventory or fleet. Those could be some of our newest one or first ones we might touch. Hopefully, the intention is you guys won't see much difference. It'll just kind of be in the background, but we're going to a more current form layout for the page. If you go to consumable inventory, this grid view is going to look a little different, but the page will have the same kind of functionalities. We're trying to be very intentional about not changing up in a world in a way that it's hard to remember or don't know. But our intention is to get into documenting work. We've spent a lot of time going through all of those pages. We're not totally for sure that can happen all this calendar year. That's a pretty big task, but we are trying to update those. So, for instance, like this is consumable inventory, but if you go to ladder license leave was built completely on the new platform. So it has just a slightly different kind of layout about it. Not drastic differences, but there are some there. And it really is it's a better platform. It's a newer type of visualization there. So we're working on those particular deals. We'll be asking questions. So there was a survey recently Tommy sent out about fleet. We're redoing all of fleet right now. Part of that is looking towards a new fleet system coming here very soon, potentially. But we've got all kinds of stuff in here on fleet, but we also on the backside we've got pictures, and so we've sent out a survey. Do we think that this is valuable to keep up with getting images for fleet units? Several fleet units we don't have a picture on. Should we do that? What does that look like? Should we give the ability that when the supervisor, assistant, personnel for that building, they can update that photo pretty easy. So we're looking at all these pages as we build them, make them efficient. We do hope that this effort also will play in a better response at your building level, even using MMS. Can we make it faster for the end user? That really is the intention and benefit we hope that we'll see through that entire effort there. So. All right. Tommy, Randall, anything else we can think of?
That covered our agenda, Michael. No, I don't have anything outside of that.
Yeah. Any questions for anyone here on the call that you guys like to ask? I'm looking out here at the chat. I don't think I see anything here for as question-wise. Okay. Last thing I got to offer is we have had over the last couple of months multiple buildings that Tommy, Randall, Sheree, myself have made it out to just to spend some time with the building. If you would like that, please let us know. We will schedule that in. Those are actually our highlights that we enjoy doing those things. Kind of come and see how, what's it look like at the building levels. There's some things we can help out with there. So if that is of interest to you, shoot us a note. We would be more than willing to come and help out in those ways there. All right. That being said, I hope you guys have a blessed day today. Take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Watch out. Let's all make it home. It's going to be a hot week. There's no doubt. Many of you have already experienced that. So please be careful, mindful, drink a lot of those fluids, and let's have a great week this week. Y'all take care. Have a great week.